Satellite images captured this week along the Russia-Finland border reveal the most dangerous military preparations in Europe since the Cold War. What they show is not a single deployment, but a coordinated buildup. Troops, missile systems, fuel convoys, and command units, all moving toward NATO's eastern frontier. This whole preparation is leading to one event, Zapad 2025. Russia and Belarus's largest joint military exercise in over a decade, now entering its final phase of preparation. While previous editions of Zapad were mostly symbolic, this one is different. It's happening after Russia tore up its last remaining missile restrictions. From Kaliningrad to Karelia, and from Belarus to the Baltic Sea, Russian forces are being placed where they can act quickly or strike deep. And what's even more concerning, every step so far has followed a similar path to the invasion of Crimea in 2014. The path to Zapad 2025 began on December of 2024, when Russia officially ended its ban on using ground-based missiles with ranges between 500 and 5,500 kilometers. Weapons once banned by the INF Treaty because they can reach major European capitals in minutes. But the move wasn't just symbolic. Within weeks, Russian military infrastructure near NATO borders began to expand rapidly. By February 2025, the Kremlin had reactivated the Leningrad military district, restoring Cold War-era command authority across the northwest, including key areas near Finland and the Baltics. Russian troop numbers surged. Small brigades near Estonia and Latvia were upgraded to full divisions. Near Petrozavodsk, just 150 kilometers from the Finnish border, new rail lines, storage depots, and missile launch sites appeared. In Kaliningrad, nuclear-capable Iskander systems were repositioned closer to the border, with some now believed to be on combat-ready status. Scheduled for September, this massive joint military exercise between Russia and Belarus is already unfolding, not on paper but on the ground. Trains loaded with heavy armor, missile systems, and fuel convoys have been observed moving west. Troops are massing across Belarus, western Russia, and near the Baltic Sea. What sets Zapad 2025 apart is how closely it mirrors real combat operations. The drill spans thousands of kilometers from the Arctic coastline to the Suwałki Gap between Poland and Lithuania, and combines air, land, naval, and missile units under a unified command. Officially, it's labeled as a defensive exercise, but the scale, the timing, and the integration of nuclear-capable systems suggest otherwise. Unlike previous editions, this one is unfolding in a Europe already on edge, and with far fewer diplomatic guardrails. That's why more and more analysts are asking a serious question. What if Zapad 2025 isn't a drill at all, but a cover for something far more dangerous? To understand the risk behind Zapad 2025, it's important to look at precedent, and in this case, that means Crimea 2014. Back then, Russia used military exercises as a smokescreen. Troops were mobilized under the pretext of training, but within days, those same forces crossed the border and annexed Ukrainian territory without warning. The West was caught off guard, not by lack of intelligence, but by not believing Russia would act during an exercise. Now in 2025, the same pattern is starting to reappear. Zapad 2025 involves live-fire missile tests, joint air operations, amphibious landings, and rapid mobilization units near critical NATO corridors. One of those is the Suwałki Gap, a narrow land strip between Poland and Lithuania that connects the Baltic states to the rest of NATO. If Russia were ever to cut that corridor, it would isolate Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania in a matter of hours. Officially, Belarus says the exercises have been moved away from NATO borders to avoid escalation. But satellite imagery and open-source tracking tell a different story. Troops are moving closer, not further away. This isn't just a military exercise anymore. It's a live test of how far Russia can go before anyone pushes back. In past decades, the West, and especially the United States, could respond to Russian aggression with a wide range of tools: economic sanctions, international isolation, pressure through financial markets, and diplomatic alliances. But in 2025, most of those tools are already used up, and they're no longer working. Since the invasion of Ukraine in 2022, Russia has been cut off from the global financial system, removed from Western trade, and disconnected from critical technologies. Its economy has adapted to survive under pressure, building new links with China, Iran, and other non-Western states. Sanctions have lost their bite, not because they weren't strong, but because there's nothing left to cut. This leaves the West with few options. Military deterrence through NATO remains strong, but direct confrontation with a nuclear power still carries unacceptable risks. For Washington, the focus has shifted toward containment, not escalation. And Vladimir Putin knows this. With few economic consequences left to fear, no access to Western institutions to lose, and a vast nuclear arsenal protecting him from direct attack, Putin now operates with a level of strategic freedom rarely seen in modern geopolitics. He can move troops, place missiles, and reshape borders, knowing that, in many ways, the West is already out of moves. That's what makes this moment so dangerous. A leader with nothing left to lose and the weapons to protect every step he takes. With tensions at historic highs, the military buildup now surrounding NATO's eastern frontier has created one of the most unstable situations Europe has faced in decades. When missile systems are armed, troops are forward deployed, and communication has broken down, even a small mistake can lead to massive consequences. Treaties that once limited escalation no longer exist. Direct communication between Russia and NATO is rare, and trust is virtually gone. In such a climate, a miscalculated move isn't just possible, it's likely. What makes this moment especially dangerous is the fact that both sides are acting out of fear. NATO reinforces its eastern flank to prevent aggression. Russia sees that reinforcement as a threat and responds with even more force. It's a cycle that feeds itself, tightening the pressure with every move. And behind it all is the shadow of nuclear weapons, always present, always in the background, making every decision heavier, every step riskier. We are no longer in an era of theory or warning. The deployments are real, the weapons are in place, the lines are drawn. The only question now is what or who will cross them first. If you found this analysis helpful, consider subscribing and leaving a like. Your support helps us bring clear, fact-based coverage of the world's most critical security issues.